Hello, everyone. I am Evan Hughes. I'm a journalist for SuttonHighNews.net. And as a special feature for my NFL draft preview, I've decided to take you all through a two-round mock draft so that I can further explain my thoughts on a lot of the prospects that I didn't fully get to talk about within the article. Obviously, I covered 17 in there, but in this two-round mock draft, I'll be covering the other 46. So I'm using the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator, controlling every team, 2 rounds. So we're just going to start off the draft right away. Start draft. So a nice thing about this is it'll show me, where they rank different players. But everything that I've seen to this point suggests CJ Stroud going number one. I've seen some talk about Bryce Young moving up into that position. Obviously, both terrific players, but I'm going to stick with my gut and say CJ Stroud is the number one pick. I just don't think that you trade up to get Bryce Young. I don't think that he doesn't meet the physical measurables of a number one overall pick quarterback. Well, he's terrific, and I think he's a number one pick caliber player. I don't think that you trade up to get Bryce Young. So I'm going to stick with CJ Stroud, who's been my gut feeling for this whole draft process. And I think Houston is, they're over the moon to see Bryce Young on the board. I don't really think they have to think too much about this. Since I'm not going to be doing trades in this mock draft, it's going to be a pretty quick 1, 2, 3. The Arizona Cardinals already have Kyler Murray. They need whatever they can get. Jalen Carter, while a terrific player, his pro day was lackluster at best. He came in, I believe, 10 pounds overweight. And that's without talking about his history of just being reckless in general, which I will do my best to avoid going forward. So I think Will Anderson goes here. I spoke about him earlier in the article. He's an unbelievable player, the best edge that I've ever had the privilege of scouting. Moving forward, can't believe Anthony Richardson is this low on their board. I think Anthony Richardson goes here. His talent is, it speaks for itself. His measurables are the best I've ever seen for a quarterback. He's probably the most athletic person to ever play quarterback. So I don't think that there really has to be too much thought here for the Indianapolis Colts at pick number 4. And then at 5, I think it's another pretty easy pick for the Seahawks here. They're probably just going to go Tyree Wilson, the edge out of Texas Tech. If I can find him on here, there he is. Another sensational player. Very, very big. He's the first guy on here who I didn't speak about in my article. He's 6'5", he's 284. He's got freakishly long arms. He's, a generational athlete. Reminds me a lot of Trayvon Walker from last year. But with that production, which is really, really special to see. Trayvon Walker did it at Georgia on a national championship team. Tyree Wilson did it at Texas Tech. That's sort of the trade-off there. You don't get the production from Trayvon Walker, but you get the pedigree, the program pedigree. Tyree Wilson, you get the production, you get the size, you get the speed. You don't get the program pedigree, so that's why I think he falls to 5, despite being, a terrific player. At number 6, I think this is a pretty easy pick for the Lions. They're a team with a terrific culture. I think they go Jalen Carter here. I think he is, if you ignore all of the off-the-field stuff, all the character stuff, which is tough to do, but if you ignore all of that, he very well might be the best player in this class in a lot of minds. I still have Will Anderson over him, but I can absolutely see an argument for Jalen Carter as that player. The Lions need help on the interior of their defensive line, and Jalen Carter is that help. He's, without question, the best interior defensive lineman in this draft, and probably the best interior defensive lineman since... He's the best interior defensive lineman we've seen in quite a few drafts. So, a potential generational guy there. Lions don't miss their opportunity. The Raiders here, they brought in Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that's satisfying their needs at quarterback. So I'm going to go Will Levis here for them. I think that just makes too much sense for them. They need a quarterback. They're there at pick 7. Will Levis. A lot of people have him higher than this. I just don't see it, and I refuse to make a mock where I have a player who I grade so much lower than the top 3 quarterbacks go above any of them. That just doesn't work for me. So I'm gonna have Will Levis going at pick 7 here to the Las Vegas Raiders. Pick number 8, the Atlanta Falcons, is a team with so many needs. Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ritter is going to be their starting quarterback. You could almost make a case for them to go quarterback. I'm not going to make a case for them to go quarterback, but they need quite a bit this year. I'm going to stick to my gut. I'm going to go edge because I think this is an incredibly talented edge class. And I'm going to have them go Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. He is terrific. He's got the production. He's got the size, speed combo. Iowa is, as far as Big Ten schools, maybe it's not Ohio State or Michigan, but he's played in a program that's produced NFL talent before. He's a really good player, and he wasn't a full-time starter at Iowa, but that's more the Iowa system, I think, than it is Lucas Van Ness as a player. I think he'll be very successful at the NFL level, and I think the Falcons will be very, very happy to have him on the board at this pick. The Bears, I spoke about it already. I'm going to stick with it. Paris Johnson Jr., it just makes too much sense. Probably the best pass blocking tackle in this draft. What do they need? Pass blocking and run blocking, but Paris Johnson Jr. is a physical freak, 6'5", 350. Crazy long arm, 6'6", 350, I think, actually, but I just don't think that the Bears will pass up on an opportunity to protect Justin Fields. Peter Skoronski, I just don't think profiles as a tackle at the NFL level. His arms are too short. That's something that a lot of guys will be upset about. A lot of the front office guys. Devin Witherspoon falling to 10, as well as Christian Gonzalez falling to 10, is just outrageous to me. The Eagles are going to take Christian Gonzalez here. Yeah, their DBs are aging. I think Bradbury's on the market. You have the opportunity to take Christian Gonzalez, a true number 1 corner, a true boundary corner. It makes too much sense. I don't think the Eagles will pass up on this opportunity at the 10th pick. Also, these guys have 3 first-round picks and they were just in the Super Bowl. That's disgusting. Titans here, they don't have to think about it. They're rushing to the board. Peter Skoronski's their pick. Whether he plays tackle or guard at the next level, he blocks. They need that really badly. The Houston Texans here. This is a kind of tough one for me, almost. But I think they wind up going tackle here. It's just, that's the pick that makes the most sense to me. As high as I am on Darnell Wright out of Tennessee, I think the general consensus is that Broderick Jones is the better player. He's the better run blocker, although the PFF average draft position suggests otherwise, which makes me happy. But I think teams are higher on Broderick Jones, so I'm going to say Broderick Jones goes there. But it won't be long. I think Darnell Wright's coming off the board right away, no pun intended, to the New York Jets, another team in desperate need of a tackle. The Texans are just too far away. They don't need to worry about. They're not going to reach on a quarterback here. What am I saying? I'm a fool. They're not going to take a wide receiver here, though. I don't think that any of these receivers fit what they're looking for. New England's a team that might have some interest in reaching on, where is he? Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. Let's see if I can find him. Yeah, New England might have some interest, but I'm not. I don't really think so. I think they go wide receiver here, because I think all the edges or the tackles that they would be interested in just sort of flew off the board 11, 12, 13, 9. you know, there's 5 picks before them and 4 tackles. So, yeah, I think they take this opportunity. They go receiver. And I think that they go with the local guy. Where is he? Zay Flowers? Boston College, granted from Florida, but played at Boston College. A terrific player, electric player. You watch his highlight tapes, which isn't a great way to scout someone, but you watch his highlight tapes, and they are the most fun highlights of any receiver in this class. And then moving on to Green Bay, they're a team that needs a lot with Aaron Rodgers leaving. This probably won't even be their pick come draft night, but since that's where I'm selecting and I'm not doing trades, I think they go Dalton Kincaid. He is the best tight end in the class for my money. He's unbelievable. Size, speed, catching ability. He's not a great blocker, but he is like a 6'7" wide receiver. I mean, he is so terrific at every other aspect of being a tight end. His route running is so refined for his age and level of development in a lot of the other areas of his game. I think that he's going to be a great pick for them going forward. Devin Witherspoon still being here is outlandish. I just don't think there's a chance that the Commanders pass up on him. I don't think that he falls this far in any world. Yeah, I think you could see him go to the Falcons. I think you go and see him go to the Lions here. I think you could see him potentially go to the Patriots here, but I have him going to the Commanders at 16. Steelers, part of me wants to go Kalijah Kancey, Pittsburgh, but I think I'm going to go Anton Harrison, another team that just needs a tackle. I'm not huge on Anton Harrison, but I think that Pittsburgh should be looking at tackles. They've had a glaring hole there for the last few years. I think Najee Harris should have been a tackle. I think Kenny Pickett should have been a tackle. I think they should have been going tackle in the first round, the last couple of drafts. It's been a glaring issue for them. And thus they go Anton Harrison here. For the Lions, I think, Nolan Smith being here, Brian Branch being here, Michael Mayer being here. This is a great way for the board to fall. Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, Will McDonald even. I mean, the board couldn't have fallen much better for them. They get their pick at a bunch of guys, a bunch of really, really good players. But inevitably, I think they will use that pick on Brian Branch. I think the Lions will see the value in an unbelievable talent like Branch, and they will use their second first round selection on him, and he'll go in the teens. This is sort of the Bijan spot. That's always where it goes, but just because every time I do a mock draft, I'm like, oh, Bijan's going to go 10. Oh, Bijan might even go 7, but he never does. And it's always because he's way better than the 19th pick or later, because spoiler alert, I'm going to have them pass on Bijan Robinson here. Right? I think they're going to take Osiris Torrance out of Florida at this spot. He's the best guard in the class. They desperately need interior offensive line play. And Osiris Torrance offers that, and he stays in Florida. And Bijan Robinson falls yet another pick. It doesn't make much sense to me either. Obviously, that sounds weird from the one drafting it, but it hasn't fit yet. Running back is a low value position, but I feel like Bijan should be gone by now, and I am almost certain that he will be gone come draft day. Uh, but moving on to the Seahawks' second pick of the first round, I'm really torn between three guys here: Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kalijah Cansey, and Hendon Hooker. Because I don't think Hendon Hooker will be there come their second round pick. I think if the Seahawks don't jump on this opportunity, the Vikings will. There's been a lot of talks connecting Hendon Hooker to the Vikings, and I think that's going to be how I have it fall. I think the Seahawks will go Kalijah Cansey at this spot, just continue to bolster their defensive line. That pick forfeited by the Dolphins right there. It's because they're morons and they tampered, and they deserve to be called morons for it. So we're just going to take a moment to acknowledge that these guys are morons for that. With that moment of silence done, I think the Chargers go Quentin Johnston here. Size, speed. Mike Williams, there's a comparison to maybe be made, but I think that he plays a very different role to Mike Williams. And I don't think Mike Williams is going to be around there for much longer. I don't think they're going to be able to afford to keep him. And the Ravens are over the moon that Jackson Smith and Jigba has somehow fallen here. I haven't hidden that he's my number one receiver. I think that the Juju Smith-Schuster signing has kept him away from the Patriots. And then I think that the size-speed combination of Quentin Johnston kept him away from the Chargers because he just doesn't fit what the Chargers need. And I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyler Lockett really filling those slot roles for the Lions and Seahawks kept them from drafting him. So the Ravens are over the moon that he's available. And the Vikings go Hendon Hooker. There's been a lot of talk about it. It makes sense. I think he's a terrific quarterback. He needs a year to learn. The Tennessee offense is very, very abnormal. It's not a pro-style offense at all. You need time to adjust to it. But I think given the time, he can be terrific. He's got a great arm. I think he's a great processor, really accurate passer, good pocket presence, good mobility. I think he'll be a great fit on the Vikings. The Jaguars here, I think this is where I'm going to have Nolan Smith go. I think this is where he'll fall off the board. Reunite him with former Georgia teammate in Trayvon Walker, taken first overall last year. I think it makes sense. I think the Jaguars are a good fit for him. They need edge help. I think Nolan Smith is their guy. This should be a pretty quick one for the Giants. Jordan Addison's still on the board. Amazing receiver out of USC. The Blitnikoff winner 2 years ago. He's amazing. He'll be an instant starter, an instant impact on that Giants offense with Daniel Jones, who improved greatly last year, and with a receiver like Jordan Addison should improve greatly again this coming season. And oh boy, the Cowboys are over the moon about this. Bijan Robinson is still there. It's a no-brainer. I mean, they need running back. Zeke's gone. Tony Pollard's gone. Bijan is a generational running back. Honest to God, a generational running back. Best since Saquon. Saquon was the best since who knows. Bijan's amazing. He's going to make this team so much better immediately. This should be a pretty easy one for the Bills as well, I think. I think this should just be immediately Will McDonald out of Iowa State. I love Will McDonald. He's a freak athlete. He's a little undersized, but terrific edge rusher. I think a really, really underrated player in this class, but I think teams are going to see the talent in him, and they're going to take him pretty high up. For the Bengals, I think this is a tight end spot. Even with the Irv Smith Jr. signing, I think this is a pretty easy tight end spot. To me, it comes down to Michael Mayer, Darnell Washington. As a Bengals fan myself, I want to see Darnell Washington. I think he's the more fun player, but I think Michael Mayer fits the scheme better, and I think that the front office will see that, and I think that he's the better pick. Plain and simple. I want Darnell Washington for fun. Michael Mayer makes more sense. Myles Murphy here, falling. He's a great player, but I don't know if he's a true first rounder this year. For the New Orleans Saints, I think this spot is probably going to be Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State. I don't know how Deonte Banks is ranked above him. Joey Porter Jr., incredible length, 6'3", crazy wingspan, one of the better players in this class. Top corner in a loaded corner draft class, obviously. Son of Joey Porter, who would have guessed it? But I think he'll fit in pretty well in the Saints, who need some help at cornerback. As we come to the Eagles for their third pick in the first round. Third, unbelievable. And I think here is when we see the first center come off the board. I think that's just what makes sense for this. Jason Kelsey's getting older. I think it's going to be Luke Whippler or John Michael Schmitz. I think John Michael Schmitz is the better of the two. So I'm going to have him go number 30 overall to the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming off a Super Bowl runner-up season. Unbelievable. Just unreal that's what the draft can do for you, because they built through the draft a quarterback still on the rookie contract. Almost their whole offense was drafted by them, except for like A.J. Brown, who was a draft day trade where they traded away the pick that was later used on Treylon Burks to get A.J. Brown. Just about everyone else was drafted by them. You could argue that the pick that was traded to get Treylon Burks or to get A.J. Brown, almost a draft pick. They used their draft pick to get a player. Just unbelievable. Speaking of Super Bowl, here comes the Chiefs, coming off of a Super Bowl champion season. They have the chance to take Myles Murphy. They have the chance to take Deonte Banks. They have the chance to take Josh Downs. There's a lot of good players left on the board right now. I think they probably do go Myles Murphy here. He's a borderline first rounder, but I think Myles Murphy is the pick here. Start around 2. We got the Steelers on a trade that involved Chase Claypool. The Bears traded their second round pick to the Steelers in exchange for Chase Claypool. The Bears wound up having the worst record in football. This winds up being the 32nd player taken. The Steelers pretty much traded a bad receiver for a first round pick. And they will use that first round pick to take where is he? Arkansas linebacker Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders is an unbelievable talent out of Arkansas. Just a terrific linebacker. He does everything you want. Steelers will be over the moon to probably have their centerpiece linebacker of the future. Texans come around. They took quarterback. They took tackle. And now I think they take receiver here. I think Josh Downs will be that guy for them. I'm really big on Josh Downs. I think he was terrific for UNC the last couple of years. Granted, he had good quarterback play, but I think that he made his quarterbacks better more than his quarterbacks made him better. He's a terrific speed guy. He's got great route running. Really good hands. I think he's going to be a terrific player at the next level, despite being a little bit undersized. Cardinals here, I think, take Emmanuel Forbes. He's a great player. He really is, as you can see here. But he's a little undersized. But where does they have? There's the regular stats. He's a little undersized, but good gravy. I mean, a lot of touchdowns allowed. Never mind. Because he did set the NCAA record for most pick sixes. That's what I thought I was looking at for a second there. Because he did score 6 touchdowns while returning interceptions, which is an NCAA record. So a lot of production as a cornerback, and he can move. He can get the ball back. The Colts went Anthony Richardson round one. You want to give him someone to throw to, but I mean, as far as the receivers go, who's on the board, I think there's a pretty stark drop off after the top guys. But I think you could see Kayshon Boutte go here. Probably not a lot of these other guys. Maybe Cedric Tillman, maybe Rashee Rice. Jalen Hyatt, Bolitnikoff winner. They might take interest in that, but I just don't think that that's going to be where the Colts go with this pick. And I think that's going to be where we see Felix Anudike-Uzomah go. He's an amazing edge rusher out of Kansas State. I think he's going to be a great edge rusher in the NFL for the Colts. I think they'll be pretty happy with this pick. The Rams have their first pick in the draft. They traded their previous first-round pick to the Lions in the Matthew Stafford deal. But they are regretting that now. But Jahmyr Gibbs is on the board. He's a great player. They'll probably trade this pick away, though. But Jahmyr Gibbs on the board. DeJuan Jones has to be the guy. They need tackle. They need a tackle so desperately. I think DeJuan Jones will be that guy. More of a right tackle than a left. He's a blindside blocker. He's too big to be anything but a blindside. No. He's too big to be anything but a right tackle. He would be a blindside blocker if he was Tua's right tackle, but I just don't think that he fits anywhere else on the line other than right tackle. Left tackle is too important. As a blindside blocker, he's not quick enough for that, but in the run game as well, right-handed quarterbacks handing the ball off on the right side, you want his size there. The Seahawks upset that Hendon Hooker's not there. Tanner McKee is not good enough. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, maybe. I like him. I don't like him that much. Obviously not Malik Cunningham or Jaron Hall or Max Duggan. Certainly not Stetson Bennett. But definitely upset that they don't have really a quarterback on the board they can work with. They do have Kenneth Walker in their backfield already. I don't think they go Jahmyr Gibbs here, despite him being more than good enough for the spot. I think we'd see Deonte Banks here. I think we will see Deonte Banks here. Super athletic cornerback, a little bit bulkier, but in a sense reminds me of their cornerback from last year. Oh my goodness, Defensive Rookie of the Year finalist. It'll click. It'll come to me in a minute, but what is his name? Tariq Woolen. Gee whiz, Tariq Woolen. I loved him the whole draft process too. I can't believe I would forget that. But I think across from Tariq Woolen, you got another size speed guy. If they can get their hips right, that'll be a tough duo to deal with the outside guys. The Raiders on the clock here, they went Will Levis round one. I think this is where Jahmyr Gibbs goes. I think Josh Jacobs is on his way out. Jahmyr Gibbs is a terrific player. Yeah, I think he's just got to be your pick here. I mean, I explain it more in depth within the article, but he's the best receiving back in the class. At worst, he's a good slot receiver. So I think the Raiders will be happy with that. As far as the Panthers go, Jalen Hyatt. He's the best remaining receiver. His 40 time does not display how fast he really is. He opens up the field so much for CJ Stroud. I think it's a good pick for them because they need receiver bad. They traded DJ Moore in order to get CJ Stroud, so they really, really need this. And they get to give CJ Stroud a target. This is another no-brainer, I think. Within this draft, Brian Brzee out of Clemson. He's a freak athlete. Probably too good to be falling into the second round. I think he's a first-round talent, but There's a lot of really, really good players in this class. It's a terrific class, so you know, I'm not surprised to see him. I wouldn't be surprised on draft day to see him fall into the second round and potentially even further than where I have him going here. But I think the Saints will be ecstatic to see him available at this pick. As far as the Titans go, they need receiver as well. A lot of people in this class need receiver, but there's just not a lot of receivers to go around. So I think they could go Darnell Washington, potentially Jack Campbell, but they need a lot of O-line help. We had them going Broderick Jones. No, Peter Skoronski in the first round. And I think we will see them go. Oh, he's listed as an offensive tackle. Cody Moak out of North Dakota State. I think he profiles a little bit more as a guard. That's what I think. That's in first look. 6'5", 300. I think he profiles a little bit more as a guard. But granted, Peter Skoronski also might profile a little bit more as a guard. One of them can play tackle, though. That's really what I see with it. One of them can play tackle. One of them can play guard. Both of them can play tackle. Who knows? But I think doubling up on O-line is the right choice for the Titans, especially if you're going to keep Derrick Henry around. So, because you're not throwing the ball with Malik Willis as your quarterback or Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback. I don't care who your receivers are. You're not throwing the ball with those guys with that O-line. So you gotta double up on O-line. Hope that Traylon Burks takes a big step, which I think he will. But they're going to be running Derrick Henry into the mud. Might as well get some yards while you're at it. And doubling up on O-line, I think, is the best way to do it. Now we're up to the Jets. We went tackle in the first round. Darnell Wright. Terrific pass blocker. Potentially an even better run blocker. My offensive tackle 1. I think he's a steal where the Jets got him, but now they're in a pretty good position, I think. I think you're probably going to see Darnell Washington go off the board here. I don't think CJ Uzomah sticks around for them. I don't think they have another good tight end on their roster. Definitely not one better than Darnell Washington. Definitely not one more versatile than Darnell Washington as far as being a blocker. And then at this spot, I think you see Jack Campbell go off the board. I think you can chalk this up as a success for the Jets, walking away with, two of the best blockers in the class and then an elite linebacker in Jack Campbell. The Falcons here, they went with Lucas Van Ness in the first round. I think at this point, it's another team that wants a wide receiver, and I think they want a wide receiver a little bit more than a lot of the other teams did. I think they have to go. I think they probably go Tank Dell here out of Houston. He's a terrific player. Really, really, really refined route runner. I think Steve Smith Sr. has a terrific write-up's not the right word, but he has a terrific report on him because he does it in a video format. So I don't think I could do him any justice that Steve Smith Sr. couldn't do. One of the better wide receiver scouts in the public eye. Green Bay here. They do need quarterback. That they do. Oh boy, they need quarterback. There's just not a quarterback on the board for them, though. In the first round, they went Dalton Kincaid. They need they need a lot. I think this is where we see probably Adebawore. He's a great player, but I'm looking for. Where are you? Where is he? Oh my gosh. Ojolari. Where's BJ Ojolari in here? Because I think that's who they go at this spot. BJ Ojolari. There you are. At LSU, terrific player. Younger brother of Azeez Ojolari, the Giants. Another terrific player. Patriots here. They went Zay Flowers in the first round. I don't know if quarterback's really a need. I think PFF's just wrong about that. I think D-line's a need. I think edge is a need. And I think Adebaware fills both of those needs. And I think I am going to have them select Adebaware because he's an amazing player. Freak athlete. I think he'll tear it up with the Patriots. I don't think edge is actually that much of a need, though. With Matthew Judon, with the huge step taken last season by Josh Uche, but Adebaware could absolutely be another guy in that line who terrorizes the very, very weak O-lines of the AFC East. As noted by the Jets taking an O-lineman with their first-round pick. There's not a lot of good O-lines over there, and I think the Patriots D-line could be a serious issue. And this is a lot different than how the Patriots have often built their teams. They usually build from the secondary. You see a lot of their teams, Ty Law, Stephon Gilmore, Darrelle Revis there for a stint, J.C. Jackson, usually the best players in the secondary, but I think there's a new era Patriots team. I think Belichick's probably on his way out sooner rather than later. So I think these defensive guys are really... I think building the front seven is the way to win a chip. And I think Belichick knows that, and I think he might give in. I don't know. Belichick's not one known for giving in, but this time he just might. Steve Avila to the Commanders just makes too much sense. After they go Devin Witherspoon in the first round, how he felt to them, the world may never know, but Steve Avila just makes too much sense. They need interior offensive line play. Steve Avila is interior offensive line play. The Lions went, terrible memory. They go Brian Branch and Jalen Carter in the first round. I don't think it would be a stretch to say that they want one of Sam Laporta or Luke Musgrave. I personally value Luke Musgrave over Sam Laporta as a tight end, so I think that's where the Lions are going to go here, and I think this has been a terrific draft for them so far. There's nothing to really be upset about. For the Steelers, it's Mozzie Smith, the best nose tackle in the draft. He's unbelievable. Nose tackles aren't very athletic. He also isn't very athletic, but as far as a nose tackle goes, I don't think he's a bad athlete by any stretch. He's just strong. He eats space. I think he'll really help their run defense, and I think he'll help open up holes for Cam Hayward and TJ Watt to exploit in the pass rush and in the run game. So I think that's a really easy pick for the Steelers there. As we get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they went, good God, my memory is rough today. They went Osiris Torrance in the first round. They still need O-line, but I think they also, you know what? He's a terrific player. I don't think it's outrageous to say that he might go as soon as the second round. I mean, he was unbelievable in the combine. UCLA is not a very good team, so you can chalk up some of his struggles to that. But I think he has a very, very high ceiling. I think that a team is going to take a gamble on him in day two. Why not the Buccaneers? As we move on to the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, morons who got their first round pick forfeited. It just makes... What is going on here? Sorry, some software issues, but they did trade. Sorry. Yeah, I think Sam Laporte is the pick here for those knuckleheads. They need tight end. Gesicki's gone. Sam Laporte is probably that guy. As we get to the Seahawks for their fourth pick in this draft, we have gone. Peter's running slowly. Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Cansey, Deontay Banks. I think. Part of me almost wants to go Tui Peloto here. He's a terrific edge rusher, but I think Keanu Benton's probably no, because Kalijah Cansey. This has been a really good draft for them, but they're in a little bit of a weird position here because you got to go interior line here, but I don't know. I guess yeah. Luke Whippler's an amazing player. I don't think that you can be mad about that by any stretch. I think the Bears can be mad about that because they're a team that needs O-line depth desperately. Whoops. But I mean, Joe Tippmann is. It's not like Joe Tippmann is worse by a large stretch than any of the other centers in this class. So see a little center run there. Chargers, they went with Quentin Johnson in the first round. Cam Smith, Tyreek Stevenson, DJ Turner. There's a lot of really good corners here. I think they go Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami. He's a terrific player. The Lions, yet again, picking in this draft. Far too many draft picks for them, but I think they finally address corner. They just traded away. Pardon me. Jeff Okudah is the cornerback who they traded away. I had a microphone issue there. So they definitely need corner. I think Cam Smith, DJ Turner are both terrific options. However, Clark Phillips as well. Or is he? Garrett Williams. They have him this low? I think Garrett Williams out of Syracuse is going to be their guy. I think he's an amazing player. And the Lions have had a sensational draft so far. Really, really bolstering their defense here. Their offense took a hit for it, but their defense is looking far better coming out of these first two rounds than it did going in. So we have the Jaguars here. It's O-line. I mean, that's what it's been. Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse. Really a no-brainer there. Matthew Bergeron's a great tackle. Obviously a step below a lot of the earlier guys. Really the first step down that we see in the tackle class so far. But you can't be upset with him. As we get to the Giants, the New Jersey Giants, East Rutherford Giants. I think Antonio Johnson could go here. I think Jordan Battle could go here. Sidney Brown, but I think it will be Antonio Johnson going at this pick to the New York Giants. Cam Smith here to the Cowboys makes a lot of sense. Tui Peloto makes a lot of sense as well. Keanu Benton's definitely the pick for the Cowboys here. Out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a terrific D-line. Keanu Benton, Nick Herbig, really the two who fronted that line, who made it so great. So the Cowboys will take an opportunity to bolster their defensive line after they bolstered their running game. They look to find some success in the postseason for the first time in years. As we get to the Buffalo Bills, who used their first-round pick on Will McDonald. I know you've seen Cam Smith and DJ Turner sitting at the top of this board for a while, but you're finally going to see Cam Smith's name get taken off that board. And moving very quickly, Cam Smith out of South Carolina. He's amazing. Shouldn't really fallen this far. There's comparisons to be made to a different South Carolina cornerback. in J.C. Horn for the Carolina Panthers, taken right above Pat Surtain, which might regret that. But J.C. Horn is not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. Moving on, Clark Phillips out of Utah. Think he just makes sense for the Bengals. They need DB, they need corner. I don't think DJ Turner's that guy for them. Um, I think Clark Phillips is. I'm higher on Clark Phillips than I am on DJ Turner. So I think he's just got to be the pick for the Bengals there. Moving on to the Bears once again. Thought they had a pick, but no, they traded it away. Tuli Tuipulotu, he has to be the pick out of USC. I mean, he was amazing. He was so productive last year, double-digit sacks. He's one of those guys who's really going to be that guy at the next level, I think. It's a terrific, terrific edge class. I mean, still Keon White's on the board. Still, Trenton Simpson, I think he can profile as an edge. How is Trenton Simpson on the board?